And the Department of Homeland Security warning that acts of violence against faith-based communities will likely continue. That as the congregation of Temple Beth Israel in Colleyville, Texas, is holding a special healing service tonight in the wake of the hostage situation over the weekend. Listen.
Thank God. Thank God. It could have been so much worse, and I am overflowing. Truly overflowing with gratitude.
That 11-hour hostage standoff at Temple Beth Israel concluded on Saturday with all the hostages escaping without injury. The video that is up on your screen now shows the hostages getting away through an exit in the synagogue. I want you to listen to Rabbi Charlie Citron Walker talking about what happened right before they were able to bolt.
The last hour or so of the standoff, he wasn't getting what he wanted. I made sure that the two gentlemen who were still with me, that they were ready to go. The exit wasn't too far away. I told them to go. I threw a chair at the gunman, and I headed for the door. And all three of us were able to get out without even a shot being fired.
Shortly after they escaped, the FBI rushed in and came face to face with the suspect who died during that encounter. Joining me now is Andrew McCabe, CNN's senior law enforcement analyst, and Jonathan Greenblatt, the CEO and national director of the Anti-Defamation League. I'm so glad to have both of you on, gentlemen. Thank you so much. Jonathan, the suspect in this terror attack was welcomed in the congregation at Beth Israel. The rabbi thought he might be homeless, so he brought him in from the cold, gave him some tea. This could happen at any synagogue. It's quite frankly similar. Remember Mother Emanuel Amy? That was quite, the guy came in wanting for help. How are you wanting help? How are you processing this senseless attack?
Well, I think in many ways, Don, it's a shocking attack, but it's not altogether surprising. As you sort of alluded to in the lead into this piece, the level of anti-Semitism has hit historic highs in this country. In the last 3 years, we have seen the highest number and the third highest number of anti-Semitic incidents the ADL has ever tracked in more than 40 years. We've seen spikes in harassment, in vandalism, in violence. And it is telling that a rabbi who wants to teach Torah, his life was saved because he knew tactical maneuvers. Thank God for the FBI and Andrew's former colleagues who did such amazing work. But the heroism of this rabbi and the remarkable thing that transpired is because, as the rabbi credited, ADL and others had trained him, so he knew what to do. The congregants knew how to respond. And what does it mean when, whether it's in the places we pray or the supermarkets where we shop, where Jews have to worry for their lives and they have to literally do a calculation? Will I be killed? Will I be taken hostage? Will I survive? I would just say to you, even in our sacred spaces, Don, we are not safe. No one is safe. This is a failure, not of the Jewish community, of America. And I think we've really got to confront that fact.
Andrew, Jewish communities are under high alert tonight. And you, Jonathan, just credit the FBI for helping there. The FBI is warning faith-based communities that will remain targets for violence. Could an attack like this provoke copycats? Sadly, I hope not, but that's my question.
Well, Don, of course it could. And I'm sure that's one of the prime motivators behind the FBI's warning tonight. It is just yet another sad and tragic aspect of this wave of violence that mentally disturb people who are maybe leaning in that direction. Sometimes see things happen like this. It can act as an inspirational moment and or a triggering moment to set them into motion. So at the end of the day, as we saw in this case, lives were saved because people were properly trained and prepared and thinking defensively in advance. That's what you're seeing from the FBI tonight, warning other synagogues, other Jewish institutions to think forward, be defensive, and be prepared.
Andrew, I want to play this for you. This is Jeffrey Cohen. He's one of the survivors from the hostage situation, talking about how they were able to get out. Listen.
That training that we had, really, I should say a course, it wasn't really training, that in an active shooter, that's what saved our lives, because it taught me to be aware of my surroundings, to know where the exits are, and then the rest of that is run, hide, fight, and that's what we did.
Well, listen, Andrew, Jonathan just said, sadly, it's good that they had the training, but sad that they have to have the training, if you know what I mean. Could this have ended differently if these hostages didn't have that training or the courage that they showed?
Sure, it could have. I mean, very easily, right? That's the purpose of that training. Run, i.e., get out of the situation if you can. Hide, i.e., conceal yourself if you can't get out. And when everything else falls apart, you got to fight. You cannot give up. Don't give in, don't give up, don't ever give up. And these people stayed in the fight. They were thinking tactically. They were maneuvering themselves towards the door. They were communicating surreptitiously with each other. They did, everything right here. And one mistake, one thing, if they'd, kind of wallowed in fear and not thought tactically, they may not have been positioned to take advantage of that opportunity. So thank God they were.
Jonathan, more from Jeffrey Cohen, who survived this attack. Here he is.
This guy was not the shooter that we hear about all the time that wants to just come in and shoot all the Jews. This was not him. He came here, he came to us, he terrorized us because he believed these tropes, these anti-Semitic tropes, that the Jews control everything, and if I go to the Jews, they can pull the strings. He even said at one point that I'm coming to you because I know President Biden will do things for the Jews. I know President Trump will do things for the Jews.
So here's the thing. That really stuck because he went on to say, look, I don't see these people, most of them, right, who say these things, that they're necessarily racist. They're just repeating ignorant things. But I think he went on to say, and I'm paraphrasing here, when someone who may be unstable or has some mental issues, right, it becomes real to them and they act on these things. Those are the dangers. These tropes are incredibly dangerous in that regard. Are you worried that this type of language is now becoming part of the mainstream?
I mean, Don, I think this language entered the mainstream years ago. Wild conspiracy theories that defame or delegitimize the Jewish people or the Jewish state are par now of the public conversation in ways that I think are terrifying. I mean, frankly, I don't have the luxury of writing this off as, it was a deranged person. Anti-Semitism itself is a conspiracy theory. And I send my kids to Hebrew school not to learn hand-to-hand combat. I mean, I must say, it makes me angry that I have to think about going to shul like it was, Survivor or something. I mean, this is madness. And I think it starts with words, Don. So people who traffic in conspiracies, we need to call them out. Again, people on the right need to do it with people on the right who make wild claims about George Soros or Jewish space lasers. People on the left need to push back on those who call polite Zionists their enemies. Mm-hmm. I think, Don, it really starts with words, and people in positions of authority need to rediscover that moral leadership that is so critical to having a shared society. This weekend was an example of what happens when everything unravels. And look, we're having this conversation a week after with the anniversary of the terror attack in Washington, which again it started with words. So we need to take people seriously when they say they mean us harm. The Jewish people have learned we can't afford to ignore them. We've got to take that seriously.
I'm so glad to have you here, Jonathan.